so I needed room in the freezer again. I had some fruits that I was going to use for a mead. It is a exotic mix with mango, pineapple and papaya. So that's just come to the boil, so I'm going to knock that down. I'm going to add the honey to this. Now this is a method I found in a book, which means you don't need to stir the honey in, which is a good thing, because stirring honey in takes forever. But so does pouring honey. So I'm going to pour this in. These have been thawing out all day, and some of the juices has actually gone in there. So I'm going to add that in shortly, but first of all, I'm going to add this honey. I've got 3 jars of just standard clear honey, which is 454 grams. And I'm cutting it fine as to be able to get this done, because I've got 101 things to do still. Daughter's singing her heart out in the shower. So yeah, happy days. So in with the honey is what we're going to do. In with the honey. I'm going to speed it up. And then we mix it in. Right, well, that's about maybe an hour and a half later. And now I'm going to check the temperature. And hopefully it'll be somewhere reasonable. It feels warm. It's been in some cold water, but I need to get it done really, because time's are ticking. And nope, 29 degrees. And that's no good, I don't think. 29.2, 29.3. Well, I'm going to add this to here anyway, which is the honey water. Because it's going in here regardless of whether it wants to or not. Alright, that's all that in. And that's probably at about just over 4 litres. I aimed for 4 litres. So once we put the fruits in, it'll go up. Right then, so now we add the fruit into this bag, which I have strategically not prepared properly, but luckily I've got this on hand which I can use. So I'm going to put it over the thing like that and steady it as I tip the fruit in. So it catches it. Like so. Just like that. That's not going to go back on now, is it? Right, we shall just get the other one in, see how it goes. Snip the packet. Now there is some juice come out of the bottom, but I'm not going to use that because simple fact is the bowl wasn't sanitized. So whatever's floating around in the bowl isn't it essentially not good. So we're not losing a great deal though. In the grand scheme of things, it's just a little bit of the juice that's from the fruits. Perfect. Like an absolute glove. And we've caught a bit of juice on this anyway, so we shall catch that juice and we'll use it. I'm tying a knot in the muslin bag, so there you go, you can see that now, all in there. That's a mix of mango, pineapple and papaya. It's like a smoothie mix, or you could put it on your breakfast or all sorts, but I just use it for meads, melomels, whatever. Yeah, tie it loose as well, so that when you come to stir it about, you can, this will be able to move around and stuff like that inside there. So literally place that in. The bag was sanitized, the bucket's sanitized, the tank, this jug sanitized, everything is sanitized. Sanitized. So that juice can go in there. Now that's put it up to 5 litres, but we know we're not going to get 5 litres out of this. It's going to be more like the 4 I put in, maybe minus a little bit. I'm just going to wash my hands. Take a hydrometer reading. Now that the fruit's in there as well, but what I want to do is I want to agitate the fruits a little bit. Might call them some names as well. Well, so literally just give it a whirl around, so any juices that are going to come out, any sugars that are in the fruits aren't going to come out straight away at all, but it's just so we can give it a bit of a soaking and know where we're at. And the fruit was actually still cold, which is a good thing, so it's going to help this cool down. I mean, I've got a thing on the side, it's gone down to 24 already just from putting that cooler fruit in, which is really good, so brilliant. I'd happily pitch the yeast at that. Between 20 and 25 is what I normally aim for. I'm not sure what the actual parameters are, to be fair. So all I'm doing, I'm just giving this a little bit of a poke in that bag. Not too hard, because I don't want to break the bag. If I did break the bag, it would not be the end of the world. It would not be. Right, I'm going to add some raisins for tannins. It gives it that, which you get in from, like, you know, like a wine. So literally just a handful in there. They'll sink for now, but they'll float for later. They get all bloated and stuff. Yeast nutrients needs to go in, which I nearly forgot. Which I don't have a clean spoon for, so I'm going to have to gauge it with a tablespoon. I'd say that's about half a spoon there. And pop that in. Now, I did a sizer the other day, which is there bubbling away, and I didn't actually add any nutrients because, not out of choice, but because I forgot. And do you know what happened? Absolutely nothing bad. It started activating, it's going away, it's bubbling away, it's sugar's obviously being eaten. So yeah, happy days. Can't go wrong. Right, let's try and get them a bit more mixed in. Perfect. Now we're going to take a hydrometer reading to see what the gravity is, which tells us how many fermentable sugars are in there. Which gives us an estimate on roughly how much alcohol we can expect. Now there's a lot of honey in this. There's 1.36 kilograms, which is, I think, the most I've ever put in. To start with, to be fair. But we'll see how it goes. It sounds quite a lot, but you do need a lot, as the sugars are literally just honey. There's no other added sugars to this apart from honey. And it didn't even come out that much, to be fair. It's always the wrong side. .246. Original gravity. Now we can't count the sugars that are in the fruits, but I don't think there's a great deal in there anyway. Brian from City Steading said that there's not actually a lot of accountable sugars in there to make much of a difference anyway. So original gravity is 1.106, which is perfectly fine for a start. And that goes back in there. It's all been sanitized, so that's perfectly fine. Why would you waste it? Digital temperature check. It's on the edge. Now that says it's between 24 and 22, but the digital one says 25.3. What about in the... See, in the actual fruit there, it says 23, so it's going to cool down anyway. So I'm happy with that. That's perfectly fine by me. I'm doing it in a big bucket because I haven't got anything smaller, bigger than these. And to get 4 litres, which is what I try and aim for, if you put your fruit in there, it's going to foam up. You'll have to put a blow-off tube on. I did it with the winter warmer, and yeah, it was on a blow-off tube for about 2 or 3 days before it actually calmed itself down and managed to not be so active, pardon me. So all the honey's in. We've written down the OG. We've put the yeast nutrients in, which I'll make a note of. Yeast nutrients are apparently are diammonium phosphate and ammonium sulfate, and this is still in date. So I've got some stoppers which are out of date, but I'm going to use them anyway because why wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean? Now to pitch the yeast. Simple as that's pretty much it. Oh, a handful of raisins. And in other brews, I've put tannings in with a cup of tea as well. I'm not doing it with this one because although it won't really add any flavour to it, I just want the fruits. Now, raisins are fruit anyway, so, or dried fruit, so I'm quite happy with just leaving it as it is. And we won't touch this until the airlock stops moving. Reason being is because there's a lot of headspace in this. And if I open it and start messing around with it, I risk oxidizing it if it hasn't got a high enough content of alcohol to stop that from happening. So I'm using Mangrove Jack's mead yeast. This is what I started using. I was quite happy with it. Didn't know any different. Tried Lalvin and had a bit of a different experience with it. So I did a Trojniak, which was quite a high gravity one, and it stopped. The Lalvin just stopped, wouldn't carry on going. So I've gone back to what I know, but I don't really think it matters. You can use bread yeast for Christ's sake, you know. So I'm going to pitch this yeast. The yeast is going to start a colony, multiply, and start taking on all them sugars, which is nice. We're going to mix that yeast in, get some oxygen in there as we go. Keeping that yeast nice and happy. Trying to get it all off the thing there, instead of it all just sitting on the top like that. We don't want it all just there. And then we're going to try and put a bit of air in this as well. Now I have brewed one in a bucket like this before. I think I've done 2 in buckets like this, and they've both gone really well. Tried both of them, but I moved to using just the demijohns for ones that don't have fruit in, and then I learnt my lesson again because I forgot, and I put all the fruit in, and then it literally, the bubbles got trapped on the layer of fruit and pushed the fruit so far up that all the gunk was coming out of the tube, so it wasn't too good. Right, let's try and turn that over. No, it's not going to let me. Right, and then you see the beauty of the bag is we can just literally just take them out, get any yeast off the sides there. Right, that's all nicely mixed in. There's no clumps of yeast sat there on the sides or anything. So yeah, we're going to just leave that as it is for as long as it takes, where it is. If the temperature goes too high, I will move it. I'll put it lower down. I've had to do that before, but in the winter, it's winter in the UK, so yeah, chances are I'm not going to need to. Lid goes on, which is also sanitized, of course. Airlock bung, and said airlock filled with a bit of water, sanitized water. It doesn't have to be sanitized water, but it's better if it is, for obvious reasons. You want to keep it as sanitary as possible, and then add your bung into there. Probably better if you lock this down first, to be honest, and then your lid's not going to be going anywhere, and that just pushes in like so, and then you get it, pop it on, and hopefully by tomorrow morning that should very well be showing positive pressure and the bubbles should be going that way. Happy days. Melomel, exotic melomel. And yeah, we'll get an update on this as soon as possible. Thanks for watching.